Hey everybody, Steve Schirmer of the Golf Gambling Podcast here with your one and done picks for the 2024 Memorial Tournament. And hey, I showed up for work last week, finally put out a one and done video after a week or two off. And hey, get rewarded for it with a Tom Kim good finish, climbing back up the leaderboard in my one and done contest. Let's keep it rolling this week at the Memorial. And by now, there's only 12, 13 more tournaments left. You probably don't have a lot of big names left at your disposal by now. Maybe you're saving them for the majors. You got to get a little creative this week. I got 5 guys that I think you can be a little off the wall. And the good thing about Muirfield Village is that this isn't one of those golf courses where, 3/4 of the field is completely eliminated from the jump. Guys, there's a wide array of golfers that can actually do very well at Muirfield Village because you got to keep the ball in play off the tee. And the golf course allows you to do it with fairly wide corridors. But if you're spraying everywhere, you're not going to be long for success in Muirfield Village. Distance does not automatically give you the win at the golf course. And you see guys who tend to be pretty good at places like TPC Southwind and Sawgrass and Innisbrook can do really well at this golf course. And that really is opening up the pool this week for one and done contests. So maybe let's get a little creative, think outside the box. You're running low on some big names. Let's get a guy with some upside to maybe get you a good payday for the Memorial. Number 5, let's go with Tommy Fleetwood. Now, I know, perennial loser. He screwed me so bad last week. I just needed him to finish inside the top 20, and he finished T21. That loser. But, overall, though, everything was relatively solid except for off the tee. But, he tends to hit it pretty straight off the tee. Iron play has been really good around the green. I think that's really going to help you this week in Memorial because the weather is not supposed to be very good. It's supposed to be really windy. And yes, the course history is not very good for Tommy Fleetwood at Muirfield Village, but that was back in 2015, 2017. He's a much different golfer. He's a much better golfer now. I think he's going to have a good result this week, maybe solidly inside the top 10, top 5, and with it being an elevated event, there's a lot of money on the line, if he finishes there. So I think Tommy Fleetwood, people are going to be turned off by what happened last week. Probably not going to be used too much in pools this week. That could be an opportunity for a pretty nice, solid showing for Tommy at Memorial. Number 4, how about Sungjae Im? Just playing really solid golf right now. Over the last year or so, he's been plagued by neck injuries on and off that has really sapped his talent and his game. But top 10 at Quail Hollow recently, top 10 at the Charles Schwab. He also got a win over in Korea recently, too. Hitting the ball great, too. The iron play seems to be trending back up. He hits it a lot of fairways. He's been pretty good at some of these comp courses where guys have been pretty good at Muirfield Village in there, too, like Sawgrass and Innisbrook. He's a former winner on a Jack Nicklaus as well by winning at PGA National. So I think he's going to continue to roll, keep it rolling this week. He's got the upside for a win. He's got the talent for a win. How about Sungjae Im for possible consideration for one and done this week too? Number 3, a guy that you would not think of for this golf course because guys who tend to spray it all over the place off the tee can be in a world of hurt at this place. But how about Sam Burns this week? Coming off a good finish at the RBC Canadian Open. What I like about Sam Burns right now is a couple things. Number 1, his iron play is trending up. That usually is a sign for a big time peak performance relatively soon. So that's a great sign for him. But also, too, he is driving the ball really good and consistent. He's been actually gaining a lot of fairways on the field over his last 3 tournaments. And the fact that he's hitting it pretty long and straight and the iron play is starting to trend up, that is a really encouraging sign for Muirfield Village. He has not had a ton of success here because he has been a fire hose off the tee. But if he has fixed the driver, fixed those inaccuracy issues, he definitely can be a good player here. So I think Sam Burns is a fine, sneaky pick for one and done this week at the Memorial. Number 2, Matt Fitzpatrick, not playing the best golf right now. I will admit that, but he has flashed a little bit of form in certain areas. He's starting to hit more fairways. That's going to be pretty important this week in Muirfield Village. He hit his irons really good through 2 rounds at Valhalla. Did not make the cut because he missed a bunch of putts. I don't expect that to happen 2 weeks in a row. He's been very solid at Muirfield Village with a couple of top 10s. And with the weather the way it is, with the windy conditions that I'm expecting, it's going to be very tough conditions. Maybe it turns it a little bit more of an up and down grind contest. And that's where I want to use Matt Fitzpatrick. So I think he is a fine option for a decent showing this year at the Memorial. But number one, look, I just mentioned I don't have a ton of big names at my disposal. I've already used Morikawa. I've already used Scheffler. I've already used Xander and Rory. I can't just go on here and say use those guys because obviously if you still have them, probably use them. So I'm going to go with a guy who has caused me a ton of trauma and a ton of pain over the years. I'm going to go with Russell Henley. Now I'm going to pause while you laugh at me for a second. You done? Okay, no, keep laughing. Okay. All right, now I'm going to defend the pick or try to defend the pick. But, listen, Henley has been very good over the last few tournaments. Obviously, really great tee to green. Iron numbers are tremendous. Scrambling really well. Starting to putt a little better too. And he's starting to show pretty well on some big boy golf courses. Played really well at Bay Hill. Played really well at Quail Hollow. Two golf courses that I really wouldn't consider Russell Henley tracks for him. And he's been really good at Muirfield Village as well in his career. And I love where the tee to green game is at. I think I'm going to get a pretty high floor out of him. And given some of his recent finishes, maybe he can actually close for me this time instead of blowing a 4-shot lead at Wyndham or blowing a 5-shot lead on the back nine at Sony like he did for me, or blowing some other big lead that he probably has blown for you through the years because he's Russell freaking Henley and he just chokes all the time. But maybe this is not the week for it. Maybe he finally gets his act together. Maybe he finally gets a win at Muirfield Village, and he is going to be, maybe regrettably, my one and done pick this week. So thank you for watching this video. Please go and subscribe to the Golf Gambling Podcast on Apple or Spotify or wherever you download your podcast. Go follow us on Twitter. Go follow us on TikTok. We're putting out underdog videos and content every single week there. Also, if you haven't already, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We put out free content every single week for you guys. So with that, good luck with the one and done contest of the Memorial. Good luck with your bets. We will see you next week for the U.S. Open.